Hi, my name is Jaden Replo, and today we're going to be talking about the funnest topic in the world, taxes. We're going to talk about how it's more important to think about it throughout the entire year than just in April when taxes are due. Now that I've lost all of your attention, or maybe the majority of your attention, let's circle back to what the actual topic is going to be today, which is golf. We're going to talk about why golf is the greatest sport to ever be played. There are multiple levels to it, multiple reasons, and I want to teach you and talk to you and convince you that golf is something more than just that thing your grandpa or great grandpa loves and that set of clubs that your dad owns that never really seems to leave the garage. Now, let's get into it. The very first topic that I want to talk about is the health benefit. There are lots to it. The first and obvious being walking. The average individual is recommended to take between 7,000 and 10,000 steps each day. In a golf course, if you were to do 18 holes, you average, if you were to walk it, roughly 15 to 18,000 steps in just 4.5 hours. Now, if you're like me, a very mediocre, if not maybe bad golfer, I spend the majority of my time in the woods trying to find my ball. I haven't resorted to jumping in the water to get them. It's a little bit more difficult, but in regards to the woods, I walk around a lot, and more often than not, I walk into the woods and walk out with more balls than I had in the first place, but none of them are typically mine. So if you were to do the cart though, because I know a lot of us enjoy the luxury of a cart, you still average between 8,000 and 10,000 steps just by driving, walking over your ball, hitting it, walking back, driving, walking around the green, chipping, putting, everything in between. You're still averaging between 8,000 and 10,000 steps, which again is right on track to meeting our goal of $7,000 to $10,000 in just 4.5 hours, and we still have the rest of the day to try to clock in some more. Now, golfing obviously takes place outside. A lot of vitamin D you can receive when being outside. I am an accountant by trade, and so I more or less was joking at the beginning when we were talking about taxes, although I do think it's important to think about them, especially if you're a small business, more than just 1 month a year. I do need to get more steps in, and so being outside is very important and getting some sun. And it probably goes for a lot of us, more than just accountants. Now, age friendly. Now, in the Masters, Bernard Langer, he was age 67. He participated in the 2025 Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia. He was 67. As was already stated, the youngest, his name was Noah Kent, he was 20 years old. So 47 years age gap. Playing the same sport, on the same links, participating in the same scoring. Give me one other sport where you can have such old, relatively, and young participants and still can be scored fairly and playing amongst each other. Also at the same time, I started playing golf roughly 4 years ago. I've also had people who started when they were so young they couldn't talk but could hold onto a club, and then those that pick it up later in life, which also kind of goes down to low impact and the physical toll that it can take on your body, which we're going to get in a little bit more there. Now, I have some statistics here that I wanted to cover. Now, this is relative to here, as you can see, we've got a couple sports in hand. We've got basketball, football, and golf. Now, the percentage here is relative to how much of a season is missed. In basketball, a season goes for 89 games. The average player missing because of injury, whether that is small or season ending, is typically 15 games, which 15 of 89 is roughly about 18%, 19% of the season missed because of injury. Football, on the other hand, obviously with being a lot more of a physical contact sport, we're looking at roughly 35%. There are 17 games in a regular season, and the average player misses roughly 6 to 7 games per season. Again, missing 35%. Now, golf. In the PGA specifically, so the professionals, there are 39 tournaments that take place in a golf season. Now, the average individual misses between, the statistics say, 0.5 to 1.5%, or one tournament. So one of the 39, which gives us 2.5%, clearly showing us that golf has the lowest impact or damage to our body. So whether you're young and you want to play a sport that you can play for a long time with little to no injuries, although there are still some, or you're in your later years and you're wanting to pick up a sport that you can play and pick up no additional injuries, golf may be the right sport for you. But again, if you want to play football or basketball and risk it all, go for it. Still love those sports, but if we're looking for safety and longevity, golf is the way to go. Now, our next slide is going to cover networking. As an individual who works in business, working with small business, this is essential. Getting to know your clients and being able to get comfortable with them enough that they're going to share sensitive information in regards to their tax situation, specifically to me, or if you're trying to sell a client, a golf course may be the place to be. For two specific reasons, in my opinion. One, you're not rushed. As we stated, 18 holes takes roughly 4.5 hours to play through, which gives you plenty of time to get warmed up, play the sport, talk a little personal, get to know the client or the respective business owner or partner, and then you can slowly merge into business as you go through and the game and getting to know more about their business, know more about your product, and then you can pitch that idea to them. And even after the game, you can go to the clubhouse and finalize any potential business. It's also relaxing. We talked about this outside. More of us need it. It's very relaxing to the body, mind, and soul. But if you're able to relax and let your guards down, you can maybe connect with people a little bit better than you can in, say, a boardroom or any kind of office space where there's a little bit more high stress, a little bit more get right to it, get in, get out. This gives an opportunity to slow down, learn what you need to learn, gather the information, make an educated decision, and pursue whatever your goals are relative to business. We're going to move on and talk about personal growth. Probably, in my opinion, the most important thing. Now, right here is a very important person you need to know. Scottie Scheffler, the greatest to ever play it. Second, maybe to Tiger Woods. Not maybe, definitely. Let's talk about the first bullet point, honesty. Golf is a game of honesty on multiple levels, whether that be that you're trying to play the course, you have to report your own score. A lot of people will ask what your score is, and that's up to you to be honest, because everybody's focused on their own game. You can shave off a point, you can maybe drop a ball where you shouldn't, you can use the famous foot wedge where you're kicking it into bounds or into maybe a better shot or even a little bit further. But honesty is a very important part of golf, as if you continually lie to yourself and to others, your perception of yourself and your game are very skewed. But golf is a great opportunity to really push yourself and play against the opponent, which sometimes is just you. There's always something to work on. There are so many different parts of golf that you can work on, whether that's something as simple as trying to figure out what golf ball you need, whether that's a Pro V1, which is a lot more firm of a golf ball for people that have a lot higher and faster club head speed, or maybe myself, that's a little bit slower speed where you want to use something like a super soft Callaway. There are so many things that you can work on relative to improving your game. Other things worth mentioning is, just to bring in some more things that will grasp your attention, is using the right club, whether that is a 3-iron or a 2 hybrid. Finding out what your goal is and knowing what club to use in the right situation. You may want to use a 3-iron if you're looking for a little bit more control, a little bit more spin, maybe keep a little bit lower of a shot, and there's a lot more feel to it, where the 2 hybrid gives you a lot bigger of a face, a little bit more security in regards to hitting it, can get you a little bit further, but it goes a little bit higher, but it's all relative to the shot you need. Do they go the same distances? Yes, but are you hitting off clubbing wet? Are you hitting off tall grass? There's so many factors that come into play when playing golf that you have the opportunity to continually grow. There's so many factors and things that continually need to be fixed in your game that no matter how many things you work on, you're always going to have something to improve. It's never a game where you can stay stagnant. But relative to golf, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That golf really can be the most beneficial sport in the world to play, whether that's because you're looking for mental clarity, physical health, business, or just strictly personal growth, and you want to be able to put yourself in a situation where you have multiple angles to improve yourself and your game. I really hope that you found golf to be a sport that you want to pick up soon. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family, and maybe even forward it to my wife and make sure to convince her that I should be golfing more than I am. Thanks for listening. Until next time, we'll talk about taxes.